All right. Welcome to the first ever episode of Gimme An Al Yeah. I am your girl Al, and welcome. We're here. We're gonna figure this show out as we go, but I have an amazing first guest. Beautiful, talented, smart, um, the best. My favorite human beings in the world. The Big Barbie herself. The newbie, as Cody Rhodes called you. Nickie Bougie's in the house. Is that a good intro? Did
What
you like
is no, that was I'm not used to getting intros.
that?
Obviously I don't wrestle, but yes, that was a beautiful intro. How are you doing?
I'm good. We were chatting before.
Yeah.
It's been a rough couple months, but you know what? We're all bouncing back. We're
Yeah.
here doing our thing,
Yeah.
and I feel like nothing's gonna stop us because we love this.
Barbie in the house.
We did not plan this. If
We did
yeah, if
not
you're
plan
watching
this.
this,
Did
please
not plan this.
stop.
Like literally.
I
So
had a different sweater on. I was like, nah, I want to be Kenneth. It's getting chilly. I could wear
it
it
is.
finally.
Oh my god. Yeah.
How are you? I know you just got off of work. You crazy.
I'm blessed. I am, I don't even, that's such a good question. I think when people ask you that question, they don't really dive into it. They're like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I'm really blessed and I am very grateful for what we've been able to do. Um, and it's fun. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I know things have been crazy, but you just move on. So life has been good. We're closing out the year. Wrestling never sleeps,
Yeah.
but I say it tends to get slower when it gets colder
Get low.
a
Get your
little bit,
lows.
especially for us WWE for
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. You're over there,
yeah,
and it's Survivor Series time. But there's
yeah. But I have been watching I've been watching Collision.
Collision's good. Yeah. Would you are you a collider? Is this what we're
We had a sudden dip.
much like like I feel like it's kind of like situations recently with us.
Yeah.
Things get a little weird and messy, but you got to figure it out, and they're figuring it back out.
No, the last episode of Collision, Jay White and AR Fox. Yeah.
That entire show, we are
Yeah.
recording this October 30th, so Collision was great.
Yeah.
And was Kenny and MJF. We can get into that a little bit, but we'll get into that. But like I said, I wanted you to be my first guest
Thank you.
after we were in a space, very intense space, but a lot of things were said, a lot of feelings are out. If you know, you know. But I was like, you were the perfect person because, like I said, I love you. You keep it real.
Okay.
You were just yourself, and I love that. But
Thank
I
you.
I want to know a little more about Nikki.
Okay.
Like, let's go back. When did you find wrestling and why were you like, yes, this is my shit?
Okay. So when I found wrestling, it was a pay-per-view. I'm not sure what it was, but I know Chyna and Triple H was on the card. I was at my aunt's house and they would buy just pay-per-views and we would watch them. And when I was growing up, we didn't get the SmackDown. Like I didn't have UPN,
Oh,
so I used to have to wait to watch SmackDown. But we had Monday Night Raw, and that was just like the marquee of everything for me, especially when Evolution, like
okay.
Triple H, Randy
Hmm.
Orton, Ric Flair. But I was big on Eddie Guerrero and Perry Saturn and people of that nature who were like physical talents.
Hmm.
But yeah, China was probably like one of the first things that I saw. And when I say things, I mean like just a character, just a being, just a over the top. And I wanted to be that. Like that's what I wanted to be in life. Like China. Like she
Okay.
was just so beautiful and just so like I mean just bulked like muscle
Hmm.
mommy like before there was muscle mommy like she was just gorgeous.
OG.
So Yeah, like that was my first representation of like wrestling. And then as I got older, I'm gonna be honest, the divas era really just
Not for
did
you.
not serenade with me as much.
Hmm.
And then, of course, when the Four Horsewomen, when the Four Horsewomen started to come in, and then you had people like Oscar and Bliss, and we had Natalia for such a long time. And I will give a shout out to the Bellas and Foxy in that era
Hmm.
because they were holding it down. But I really had to go back and watch a lot of divas because it just I don't know, man. It just as I mean, and of course it's like 2010. I'm out of high school,
Yeah.
so I'm not watching it as much. But when I saw Charlotte, I was whoa, because that was when NXT was like exclusive. Like
Oh, it
NXT
was
was
the best. Black and
exclusive.
gold.
Yeah, like you
You had to
had to
find
have the
it.
network.
Yeah.
Like you had to have the network, and they came on, and I just felt like there was just something different. So when they brought it to TV, I don't know. But yeah, that was my first. Like,
That NXT like
yeah,
network era 20
100%.
2014 2015. It was
Yeah,
special. Like I feel like everybody was watching wrestling.
yeah.
And it was like but it was like cool. Like it was
Mhm.
when wrestling was like cool again. Like you're saying China Eddie, that was what was real cool.
Yeah,
And then it did not get cool. Like I'm a person who's not stopped. I know you said like you have lulls or you don't watch for a couple years, with nothing. I've been in the trenches. I watched
yeah,
all the divas. Like I was not that person. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not faulting anybody. That's just like
No, no,
me.
no,
I,
no.
I
But I
was in
think
it.
it
Like,
happened. I think there's more people who didn't stop.
mhm,
And I appreciate those people more because as I stopped, I always try to be like get the results and
mhm.
keep up with the roster and stuff. So I respect people who still were in it week in and
It
week
was
out.
fighting
Yeah,
for our lives. Sometimes it was rough. It was rough.
that's true.
But respect to those divas though, honestly. But
Yeah,
I do like that you went back because I think you're also like a person who respects the history and wants to know it. Because some
yeah,
people just, I don't like it, just crap on it, and like you didn't watch it, or So that's I love that
yeah,
because some people just don't or don't want to. They're not going to put the work in.
yeah,
And like you said, the Bellas, you can say what you want. They're businesswomen, but they did
yeah. I
do
didn't
their
like
thing.
them. I didn't like them then, but I am obsessed with Nikki Bella now. Like going back and everything. Like Nikki Bella is like the one. Like she's the greatest. Like I know, like shout out to AJ Lee, shout out to Paige. The girlies was holding it down. Nikki was the girl. Like I don't know, back
Nikki's
then.
your vibe. I get it. Yeah. Like I
Yeah,
know
she's my
you
vibe.
and yeah, if you a wrestler, you Nikki Bella.
Yeah, definitely.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get the vibe. Um I I think this is I'm kind of gonna go ahead because I think it's so crazy. You've only been doing this for what, 2 years, 3 years? Your
I've been
baby.
doing this
You say
since
your baby.
2 years. So I started doing it at the summer of 2021.
That's crazy. You just fell into it just because.
I went to it was just really weird because this was when Impact was like just letting people back in after pandemic. So
Mhm.
they were letting like fans. And I remember calling the number on Eventbrite, and it was Ross. And I remember asking Ross, did he have, and I didn't know who Ross was at the time. I remember asking him, did he have a job? And he was like, no. He was like, he didn't have any jobs at the moment. And he was like, you can just come. I came. I met. That was my first time meeting Ross. I had no idea. Like, this was before any publication, any post show, anything, anything. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I recorded. I remember seeing three people that night: Eddie Edwards, Trey Miguel, Deanna Perrazzo, and seeing them made me want to like start recording, if that makes sense. Like, it
Yeah,
made
like
me want to
you didn't
like
you wanted to see them. Yeah, like you were like
yeah, it was
something
like,
about
oh,
them
wow,
clicked.
yeah, like, so that's what like kind of sparked my interest like on the media side of things. It really wasn't until I know it's been 2 years, but I'm gonna be honest, like it wasn't until I went to LA this year
That do you
that I
feel like that you're in it?
felt like something was just something was different. And then SummerSlam, I can retire. Like, but I don't have to, but I can make decisions based upon what I like, if that makes sense. I've
You
been blessed.
weren't boxed in before?
Not I don't feel like boxed in. I just feel like I've always been blessed to be able to be everywhere.
Mhm,
To me, in my 2 years, have fallen in love with the indies,
mhm,
and that's where I want to be. And it's not to say that I don't want to do a press conference again with WWE, and it's not to say that I don't want to do stuff with AEW. It's just saying that I really enjoy the aspect of filming matches and letting other people around the world kind of see what wrestling like really is. That's
mhm.
like it's cool to interview people. Like I got to meet Baron Corbin, and
Oh, I know.
love that man. So like that's
I
something
love
that
that for you.
yeah, like like that's a perk in a
Mhm,
sense. Um But I'm in this space now where like I don't I'm not I'm not in it for gain, if that makes
mhm.
sense. So
No,
I'm
that makes
doing it
sense,
because
and
I enjoy doing it. It's a hobby.
mhm.
It's just, you know,
And that's why I wanted to reach out and talk to you because it's so
yeah.
different because you can be you basically be whatever you wanna be, but
Right.
you always choose the little guy, and, like, the indies are the little guy, and, like
Right.
but it's also, like, I think wrestling and wrestling media in general, the whole aspect of wrestling, like, you don't have to be at a big company, just like the wrestlers don't have to be at a big company or a big promotion.
Right.
You can make a name for yourself
Yeah.
doing going around there's photographers who do shoot indies. You could, you social media for them, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's cool that you wanna because you were so good at that. I remember always looking at your resume being like, "God, I suck." Like,
It
I was
was
like, "I gotta get
something
on
that
Nikki's level."
that was something that that was very unexpected. And what's crazy is you can't do that everywhere. You can't
Mhm,
make like reels
mhm,
every show you go to. It's not going to be I mean you can, but the quality like that's I don't know, like the backyard type stuff, like the stuff I went to over the Halloween weekend.
mhm,
It's just stuff like that. Like pro wrestling is more than just WWE and AEW.
mhm,
Like that's the worst part about the media side is I tell myself all the time, if I cannot be a fan in the space, I don't want to be in the space. I don't wake up every day and be like, okay, where am I gonna go? Who am I gonna work for? This and I don't think like that. And I'm not
mhm.
saying there's nothing wrong with people who think like that. I'm just saying that there's other options. for those
Yeah.
who don't think like that. Like you, in my opinion, you can create your own space in media.
Hmm.
Like media is not just interviews. Media is like transformed through all different channels.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I just do what makes me happy because it's something that I enjoy. I don't feel
Hmm.
like I'm in competition with the next person. I don't feel like none of that. I feel like there's so much room. That's what like LA taught me that you can make it happen. Like you just have to be willing to be more louder. Like it's okay.
Hmm.
That's okay to be loud.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are uncomfortable when you're the loudest. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be the loudest. I'm gonna introduce myself to every person in the room, and I'm gonna speak to everybody in the room. That's just my nature because I never know. Like, and I think on the flip side of that too, I get something out of it that like as a fan, I got to watch Kenzie Page wrestle. Like,
I just saw that. Yeah, you just talked to her. We'll,
like
we'll get into that. Like,
it's just I don't know. Like people get what they need out of this, and so that's why I don't want to. I never want to take it like too serious in a sense, but
mhm.
my work is, me making a reel and doing that is just what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, and it shows. And I think, like, if you're not passionate, people can tell. Quality of work, you can tell, is not. If it's not what you love, it's not going to come out great.
Hmm.
And like you said, you just do what you do what you love, and it looks great. And that's why I think that's why people are attracted to what you and Santana do, because you guys are both so passionate about it.
Yeah, and I
And
think
like I
that
said, you
shows
guys
it.
inspire me. Like I'm like, oh, I wanna be better. Do the thing.
And that's
Like,
like I think with especially with Santana, I think it's very important because it shows her work, her precise, everything is just so precise, so nice, so eloquent.
hmm.
And I think like it shows the way you take care of your work. It does.
Hmm.
You can see that when the way your work is presented to people, no matter what. But everyone does not have that same creativity.
Yeah.
So that's why they need to channel in the right lane. I say this all the time. My success is to me, my inner success to me is based upon me staying in my lane. Like I know what my lane is.
Hmm.
Like if I don't if I don't want something or if I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do that because
Yeah.
it don't even sound right.
Doesn't feel
It
right.
don't
It's
even
not.
mean anything.
Hmm.
Like it's just, you know, I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Santana. Let's talk
Okay.
about the other half of the salt shakers, which I did
Yeah.
not put in the intro. Shame on me. Yeah, you two are so perfect and such a good duo, and I love it. Just let's just give Santana her flowers. Talk about
Yes.
how you guys work together. How did I mean? Kind of know how it came apart about, but
So I knew Santana probably a few months before the Impact show. So we had already known each other before we even were at a promotion.
hmm.
So and it's crazy. It's really crazy how we came up
Hmm.
with the name because I was watching a lot of what Fire and Flavor was doing. Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. I was watching them a lot. Like I was just studying them. Like you would thought that I'm like trying to be a pro wrestler or something, but I was just watching their matches like, and I just was like salt shakers. Like I can't
it just came to
like
you.
it just I don't know, it just like salt shakers, salt shakers, salt shakers. It just and we would tease it. It wasn't really official until we started
Mhm.
doing the post shows and everything. But me and Santana have now been able to move on. We are at Battleground Podcast right now doing our thing, having some good interviews. We had Tracy Brooks. So that's just amazing. And then shout out to Shalom Say and Danny Limelight for stopping by. We also had Pretty Empowered, Kylie and uh Kylie and Ella. She gonna kill me. Ella Envy. And then we also have Ruthie J too. So we've been trying to do the thing. We are the Shakkas Den. So
Mhm.
we have decided to create something that is invite only, as Santana would say. Santana
Kills
does all of our graphics. We do
kills it.
everything. Oh my god, like the
Every
graphic.
time you put a new graphic, I'm like, "Ma'am."
Yeah, it's I
Yeah,
love it.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
We've had setbacks, but you just keep it moving and prove
That's all you can do.
that you guys that it's you guys, that your work is gonna speak for itself.
Yeah.
I love it. I like the minute you were putting out interviews, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like you've been out
Yeah.
for 2 days. Like, come
Oh
on.
no, like
Come
we
on,
like
interviews."
you don't
Like,
understand. Like I was sitting there like talking to people at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I mean, I had so many, like, and that's why I say LA. I left LA with like 4 or 5 like personal contacts of wrestlers and like 20 different emails of just different people, even people that I just had just shot the shit with and talked to. That's
yeah.
literally how we talked to Kevin Knight, Lexus
Mhm.
Littlefoot. Those interviews that are in this mysterious place
Mhm. Somewhere.
somewhere. That's how we got those because when I came, Alexis Gracia, shout out to her. Like that's how we were doing this. Like we were literally like when I came back from LA, I was not doing stuff with WWE when I went to LA.
Mhm.
I created my own. I went to WrestleCon. I was moving and shaking there. I got to meet Mercedes.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like I met Trin. There was just a lot of connections. I was showing my face.
Mhm.
And I was doing it for a brand, and now I'm doing it we're doing it in the den. So it's a little
Mhm.
different. It's it's much more I would say that it's 100% genuine versus, you know, trying to
Yeah.
get interviews for the brand was just something that, now I'm really like I want to interview regardless, but now I know that I'm doing it on a genuine platform
Yeah.
versus doing it for someone who I think is genuine and it's actually not. Because we've interviewed Speedball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Th
so
Yeah. But
that's
yeah, and it's
yeah,
like I said, not quite a boxed in, but
yeah,
there is confinement when it's not your own. And it's great to work with somebody else as long as it's the same vision.
yeah,
And so I I understand. Um but yeah, so now it's just you and what you want to talk about and unfiltered. it's you, but a little just real freer. Is
Okay.
I feel like that's all. That's y'all. Because you guys didn't change. It's the same thing.
No, and I think what's nice about it is it 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 was a revamp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we changed. I just feel
No.
like there was a sense of a revamp.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that was necessary. I think that was gonna have to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, happened. And now we're doing NXT. We've always loved NXT, which is so crazy. And we focus on Impact. Um, we're still in the kitchen trying to figure out what we can do
Yeah. Now
for
it's just kind of fun
AEW.
seeing what else you
Yeah,
could do, and I feel that like doing this, I'm like, what do I want to
yeah,
talk about? Who do I want to talk to? What's going on? What
yeah,
can we do? Now we can just kind of play more.
yeah.
But
And I'm very grateful that we were able to do some interviews ahead of the NWA pay-per-view. I
mhm.
know Impact will not be returning technically to the States until um January. So I
Mhm.
won't be at Impact
Will you be going to Vegas?
for TNA.
Mhm.
Absolutely. There's no way I'm missing.
Listen,
Listen,
if come on, let
no,
me
I
if I
will.
get some money, let me
Yeah,
come with you. Call up Ross, be
please.
like, "Hey, I'll come too."
We all get like we need to get a penthouse.
Cause like
Yes.
if
Oh yes, I am
I would
there.
love to go.
I'm not missing that for the world.
Yeah, let's talk a little Impact because you carry the flag for Impact and love it, and I like you are.
That's I don't. That's a heavy pressure because there were definitely people like Bill, franchise, Missy. There's so many people. Um, what I
Not
like,
like
what I like about Impact is, and those are fans that I just named, by the way. Like those are the Impact faithful people who like have showed up always. The one thing that I love is that when we were doing post shows for Impact, no one was doing a post show for Impact.
yeah,
And now more and more people feel like there's a need for a post show. And the reasoning B is because of the growth that you see. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, don't jump on the bandwagon now. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because some of us are still new. Yes, I was very familiar with TNA. In my opinion, and I will argue anyone down, AJ Styles still to this day is still the best wrestler in the world. Until he collapses and dies and retires, that man is the best wrestler in the world. It used to be Kurt Angle, and now Kurt Angle doesn't wrestle anymore. It is AJ Styles. When AJ Styles is moved on, it will probably be a big fight between Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and Jay White, and maybe have to throw in Okada. I don't know, but
yes,
I was when the pandemic came, like that's what made me get back into Impact Wrestling. Um, I want people that used to be in Nashville in the asylum. I want those people to come to Las Vegas. I want those
mhm,
fans that used to sell out those arenas. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I
Like
want
it's for
the
them, yeah.
different content creators. I was talking to this guy last night when I went to a show, and he was like, "How did you get into media?" And I was like, it's a you just start. Like if you whatever you want to do it." And I feel like if as long as it's genuine, then it's gonna cross over. You
Hmm.
can buy all the likes in the world. You can do everything. But if people know that you're not genuine about it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh. It
But
doesn't really, but with Impact, because we were talking about Impact, um,
it's okay.
I do want um people, and I think a lot of more people are seeing, like, I feel like I owe more of my media career to Impact versus anything else, especially people like Mickey James being able to do just a piece of videography for
Hmm.
her during that last rodeo, being able to film so many different, like, that have come through Impact. It's just, and then being able to interview them. So the media, like the media spectrum that Impact has allowed me is a blessing. Like, even when we went to Memphis for the tapings, I honestly felt like, just, I told Ross, I was just like, I'm really appreciative for how you how you treat us. Like, you
Hmm.
always treat us with the utmost respect. And, with us being at Battleground, that's how we ended up getting the interview with Tracy. So that was a blessing. Tim over at Battleground, he's amazing. He is so, like, serious about making sure that we have a voice. And I think that's
Hmm.
appreciative more than anything, because he's here in my city too. Like, and it's just good to have that connection. So when we
Hmm.
did the Tracy Brooks thing, I was just like, man, like, we've been able to do so much. Like, I know we couldn't attend the 1,000,
Yeah.
the ceremony, Bound for Glory, we didn't get to attend that either. But just to have me being able to show my grandmother that I interviewed this lady who's a historian of women's wrestling, and now she's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was very nice, and to share that moment, um, with Santana, and it wasn't like we didn't go on and on and on. It was just really a sweet time,
Hmm.
honestly. Um, but yeah, Impact has given me, like, my whole, like, half of these
Yeah.
people um mean Impact Wrestling, like, to me. Like, that's what Impact Wrestling means. And I think that when we are done with Impact, I think for me, it's gonna be like shedding of a new skin,
Hmm.
because I have all this content from Impact Wrestling, but I don't have any content from TNA. I'm literally
Yeah.
getting
How did you feel about that? Like
right.
when you saw it pop up, because
Uh,
like everyone was like, "Oh my god, wait, what?" Like, and like
I've
I'm sure
been,
like you were crazy.
no pun intended, I've been watching, like, different pay-per-views non-stop. And I'm just so excited, and I think it's so important for me to go back and watch, because this is going to be a different era in wrestling. Like, I think a lot of people that watch WWE and AEW are going to be very interested in what TNA has to offer. And
Mhm.
I think that TNA can build, especially, you're talking about Eric Young, Trinity, Jordan Grace, Mickey James, like Trey Miguel, Moose, Eddie Edwards. Like, I'm so biased to Impact Wrestling, because I just feel like there's just a legitimized hope for the future of wrestling, if that makes sense. I think
Yeah.
they, when you watch a company, like, go from, like, literally, like, 20 people, and then, oh my god, like, it's crazy. Like, it's
Hmm.
crazy, and it's a good crazy, like, because you know how hard those people work, and you know how hard people deserve to be, a part of that growth too. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the tapings. I love going to the tapings. I can't wait to see what Las Vegas is gonna bring. I'm a little nervous because I know I have my thoughts, but we already have two matches set for then Moose will be facing Alex Shelley, and then of course Trinity versus Jordan Grace. So I don't know, like, but I'm not gonna miss. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Yeah, like, when I met you, I got hyped for Impact. I'm like, "Okay." Like, because I was like, I hear I see it. It's hard, it is sometimes hard to find and all that, so
Yeah,
but, like, you hype it, I'm like, What are they doing over there? What's going on? I wanna know what are you guys having fun?" Like,
I
I
just
was, like, at a party
knew
I wasn't invited to.
the night that Eddie put Trinity through the table, I knew more people would watch. Like I
Mhm.
knew because that was like, oh, like, and then they were making the jokes about Jimmy, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a good time. They do have, for me, in
Mhm.
my opinion, Impact sometimes has the best wrestling show. Now, it's really hard. I say sometimes because, once again, for me, NXT delivers. Like, but you can't say that for everyone
Mhm.
because I don't watch Rampage. I'm fine with Dynamite, but Collision, I know I can watch some good
Mhm.
wrestling. So I think it just like sometimes Impact has the best show, sometimes NXT has the best show, but when you're there at the tapings, that is
See,
the best.
this
Like,
is why I wanna go, and I wanna go with you.
ah,
Like, the vibes, like, it looks so fun, and I'm like, that locker room just seems so tight, and,
yes,
like, them on their UK tour right now,
they're
like,
having a
they're having a good time.
blast.
I love that for them, like, I'm so
Yeah.
happy. Our girl Giselle, like, you showed me Giselle, and I was like, "I love her." It
She's
was
amazing.
so, yeah, like, I knew I wanted to talk about that because I know that's
Yeah,
a part of you. Like, when sometimes when I've mentioned you and they're like, "Oh, she loves Impact." And I'm like, "Mhm."
I
Nikki.
do. I love Impact.
So, we'll keep it on the wrestling. Like, what right now, as of today, is, like, exciting for you in wrestling? Because, like you said, we're kind of in the quiet time, but things are happening.
Yeah, things are happening. Of course, Rhea Ripley. 100%. Like, Rhea Ripley never gets old to me. Dom is the best thing, honestly, for me every week. Um, Pretty empowered, definitely. Have Kinsey beating Camille was a very just I don't think and I this is the one thing that I hate about sometimes in the media is that, or not even just in the media, fans can do it too, where you don't support a promotion because of
People in
basically
charge.
you don't support NWA because of Billy, but yet there's still other things going on in the promotion that is, to me, like, should be talked about more.
Mhm,
Like Kenzie beating Camille, that should be talked about. Camille having this 700, 800 day reign. Like, it's kind of like that should be talked about more. So that's what streaks my interest is when I see things. Like, I remember when me and Santana were getting into like GCW and XPW and like all these different promotions. Like, I like, as much as I know that I'm a WWE girl, I'm an Indies girl. Like,
mhm,
I'm definitely an Indies girl. I met Hunter Drake yesterday. Never known him ever.
mhm.
Saw him wrestle for the first time. The only reason I went to the show is because Stunt Marshall was on the card, and then I heard Kenzie Page was on the card, and I'm like, what in the hell? I'm more of an Indies kind of girl because to me, what I do in media, it far more goes to that aspect. I'm not saying it can't be WWE or AEW, but what I'm saying is I just really enjoy that indies aspect because Seth Rollins at one point in time wasn't always Seth Rollins on
Mm-hmm.
WWE. So to me, it's just very intriguing to see people, um, like even people that I've interviewed, and then I see them go on, and I'm like, holy fuck, like I don't,
Yeah, I think that's where you and I agree. Like I do love an
yeah,
indie because you watch them in a sweaty building for like 30 people, but you're like sometimes you just see somebody and you're like
you,
you're something you know what I mean, like you watch somebody walk wrestle and you're like you're gonna
yeah,
be somebody in a couple years,
yeah,
like, and I think that's you and I agree, like watching somebody's growth and like saying hi at a table, buying a shirt and being so like
yeah,
approachable, and you're like, okay, cool. Then you have that because then they're like, oh, I felt good about that. Like,
yeah,
hot dog and a handshake that sometimes
yeah.
doesn't make them feel good. you know?
That's true.
But yeah, like so I agree. I'm an indie girl too. I haven't been for a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm a be back out. Be back out in these streets soon. So outside of wrestling, who
Mhm.
is Nikki?
It's funny you say this because I was talking to myself the other day about this, and I was saying that Nikki has finally only like she only exists in pro wrestling now. Nikki is like an entity that I have turned into something that to me is like a business. And I do feel like, and it's so crazy, but I do feel like she's Sasha Banks. And I hate to say it, I don't think she will ever come to an end, but I think there will soon be a time where a name may change or something may change or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really big on that because, um, in a sense, people know Nicki Bougie as
Mhm.
I want people to know that as a Sasha Banks. If you know me on the outside, very similar, very similar. But if you know me, it's a little more straightforward. Like just more like I'm more of a laid back chill. I really liked the LA vibe when I came out there.
Mm.
I felt more of Nikki. Like I felt Nikki was supposed to be in LA. Like
Yeah,
that's
people
how it
people
felt.
talk a lot of trash about LA, but I
Yeah.
love LA. Like I've
I
had
would go
people
to
be
LA
very
over New
kind to
York,
me.
honey.
People are so
I
nice
go
to me when I'm in LA.
it
Like
was nice.
I've
I had a like best trip I've ever been on outside of Miami, honest.
I'm glad because people talk trash about LA.
No, I had a pleasant time.
I
Everybody I met, the only issue because I'm from the South, the only issue is the food. That's the only issue for me, but I'm from the South, so I do like a certain type of food, and that's fine, but that was the only issue for me. Like,
That's fair.
it was great. Like, the people, like and it
Uh,
was very wrestling related too,
mhm.
but I was by myself traveling wise, but I met with a lot of people who I got some advice from. I got off a flight and me and Littlefoot, we were hanging out, and then we ended up going to Spotify um, with Cam, and then Bailey just walks out like and just
Yeah.
speaks and just leaves. It was just crazy. That whole time in LA was just like it was really crazy, but it was needed and it was
Mhm.
nice, and I felt more I always go back to what Mercedes told me about like starting with my name first and
Hmm.
always making sure that my brand is protected too and don't try to bend over for these companies. And for that to be my reality 5 months later, that woman might be a psychic.
She might be onto something. That needed to be you needed to have that to be like when that
Girl,
happened. Oh, oh. Listen, I've been through similar things twice this year, so that's what
like,
I've told
what?
everybody. Like, this is gonna. Here's how it's gonna go down.
Right.
Let's just move on. Um. Also, besides, I know you like spooky things. We're ending spooky
Yeah.
season.
I do love I love a good Halloween movie. So what I do outside of wrestling, I work I was working at a well, I still do, but our season is over. For any sports fans, MLS, Nashville SC, I did guest services in that department. And then I also do the same thing at Bridgestone Arena, NHL, National Hockey. I just started doing that. So we do different events and like stuff like that. So it's really like just, like an entry level job. But I've been working at a hotel for like 7 years. So that's what I do in the spare time of stuff. But yes, I do love a good scary movie. I
Mhm,
know Halloween is here at this
mhm.
point,
Yeah.
and I am a very late bloomer sometimes. So I feel like Halloween truly doesn't end until like Thanksgiving. I
Okay.
feel like
Oh,
that's when
you
people,
like to keep it
yeah.
so
I
November 1st, when the holiday music is out, you are mad. You're
No,
still
I'm not mad because I love Christmas.
Mhm.
So I feel like Halloween is my favorite. Like, okay, so I'm a little unicorn. I've always been like this. So my favorite holiday is Halloween.
Mhm.
My second favorite is Thanksgiving. After that is Christmas. Now, I know Christmas would be the big one for a lot of people, but let me just say this.
Food.
Food. The food. The food, yes. And for that to go, like it literally hits October, November, December. This is the best time of year for me. So
Oh,
I love Kelly Clarkson's Christmas music. I listen to Christina Aguilera. I'm I definitely
where do you
am.
stand on the, Mariah? How do you feel about
Oh, it's a hit. I don't. You tell me. You show me a song that's been a hit for 29 years.
Exactly. I just saw that this week. Like,
Psh.
it's hard to make a new Christmas staple, and she did that.
And Ariana, I do like she tried. Justin
She tried.
tried. But Mariah is, I mean, no one. I feel like Kelly Clarkson's, she has this song. I can't
Well,
think of
Kelly can sing anything. Like,
she down. But yeah, Mariah, yeah,
yeah.
y'all not, yeah. Mm.
You know she'll be doing those Christmas shows in LA if you come to LA for Full Gear.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, she's doing it. I saw Will Washington tweet about it because he
I
loves
know he's
Mariah.
going. I know he's
It's
going.
like,
He,
okay.
he is just
He's
a
going.
bigger fan. I've never met anyone a bigger fan of Mariah Carey than me, honestly. He loved. Oh my goodness, I love that. Oh, I saw that like a couple months back, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, love it.
I love
Yeah.
learning more things about everyone in wrestling.
Right, 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 right.
And before we play a game, let's get a little serious because
Okay.
I know representation, and you mentioned it in our space, like um, when Paul Heyman was, ladies and gentlemen. You jokingly tweeted out like, "Why is it just ladies and gentlemen?" You know.
Oh, I was
But how do you feel about
trolling.
like? I love it, but how do you feel about there's such an explosion in the LGBTQ wrestling space and like in the recent years?
There's definitely an explosion, but I think it needs to be. I think a lot of people were hoping that what we weren't getting from WWE in inclusiveness that we would possibly get with AEW. Now, as hard as that may seem to understand the concept, I can get it, but I also think people have to understand that you can't put those litigations on other people. So it's been an explosion of so many different people,
Hmm.
but the problem is that it needs to still be on TV. We
Yeah.
still need to see Polo Del Mar should be on TV. Bo
Agree.
Bombshell TV. Like
So
these are
our friends.
people that need to be seen. When Sunny
Mhm.
Kiss popped up at Bound for Glory and did the stuff with Bully Ray,
Please.
legendary,
And I
legend.
think, I've said this to other people. I think I've said this before, but like, I feel like they were just scared. You know,
Yeah,
investors and advertising. They get scared and just like, no, people will accept them as a person and anything like that. All right, we're back. We had some technical issues, but like I was saying, Sunny, I think people got scared. But if you just show
yeah,
them a human, people are going to respond to a human. And we've seen it. You put Sunny out there, you put anybody out there, present them as a star, and people are going to respond to a star. Like you
yeah.
said, Poyo, Bo Bombshell, our friend, put them out on TV.
I think
And
that was why it was so hard. Um, and I feel well, I can't speak. I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to speak for her. But I think that's why some people take their time when it comes to coming out or saying if they are gay or if they are trans. I think that's why a lot of people, because of they don't want to be judged or
mhm,
but I do think we have a good representation on the indies. I don't think we have a good
yeah,
representation on television.
yeah,
There's no one that is on TV. Not even Nyla. Nyla's not even getting
no,
but there's no one on television at this moment. No matter who the company is, I don't think it's a company problem. I think it's more of a are we gonna take a risk?
yeah,
And I feel like AEW, the way they're coming off makes it seem like, oh well, we already took our risk, so we don't have
mhm,
to, But now with the Sunny thing going on, Sunny being gone, and it could just been they just didn't work it out. It's not always about race or gender or
yeah,
things like that. Sometimes it's just about communication.
yeah. We don't know. It
Yeah.
just couldn't be the. It couldn't have been the place for her, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
also, I will say, well, speaking of indies, your joking tweet. Shout out to Hood Slam,
Yeah.
and my boy Broseph Joe Brody. Their intro is inclusive, so
That
it
was
is.
yes,
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between.
I did not realize how much attention that was gonna get.
I knew you were
I was
joking, but I
literally
know you.
just I'm like, "Oh my god," and then people started going on these rants about, like, "You're right. They need to." I'm like, "Calm this was not what? Calm down,
Of all the
please."
things in
I'm
wrestling,
like, "I'm not trying to hear this right now, like, it's a joke." You think I let me be honest, because 'cause I'm a realist. You think I'm expecting WWE to be inclusive? No.
please.
If that was the problem, I would have been stopped watching this damn product. So, please, we have bigger fish to fry. Okay.
Right. Well, and commentary did mess up a little this week on Collision on Abaddon's pronouns, and I was like, "Stop it! Stop it!"
Oh God, how horrible was Jim Ross
Oy.
during Kenny Omega's match? Lord.
Listen.
He should
Some
never.
things, some things need to stay in the
They
past.
do.
Jr. needs to just chill. It was great growing up, but maybe don't take your reputation, because you listen to it, you're like that.
I can't stand.
It's rough. It's rough.
Ugh,
But that Kenny and MJF though.
yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Do you want to play a game?
Yes.
And to wrap this up, because I loved hanging out with you. I
Yes.
miss you so much,
So much.
and
We're
we're,
gonna have to
we're
do more
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, we will. Yeah, I'm a pop up. I'm gonna pop up on a certain show. They used to have a different name when we talk about fashion.
It'll be
Pop
soon.
up. I'll pop up.
We'll have our next show.
I did watch it. I wasn't able to be on, but I watched,
Yeah.
caught the end. You guys were great. Like I said,
We did have Bo on the show. You know, Bo is our new host on Fashion Forward in the Den. So, we still doing
love.
it.
That was great.
Oh, it's great.
I'll shout out to Bo for being on Effie's Big Gay Thanksgiving real quick.
Yes. Is that in North Carolina?
It's WrestleCade weekend, isn't it? So I
Yeah,
think so.
we're supposed to be going. So, fingers crossed.
Ooh.
I've been trying to get to a gay brunch.
Oh my god! Listen, I had tickets for LA and I couldn't make it to LA. So, but our first game is gonna be Al Yeah or Al Nah. So I'm gonna show
Okay.
you some things, and if you're into it, it's an Al Yeah. If you're not
Yeah.
into it, it's an Al Nah. If you want to elaborate, go
Okay.
ahead, but you don't have to.
This
Some
game.
things, it's a mix of wrestling, and we might end it with some not wrestling things. So
Okay.
a little fun thing we're trying out.
Let's see.
First one, Ric Flair on Dynamite.
Him or him on Dynamite?
Him returning to wrestling in AEW. Is it an Al Yeah or an Al Nah?
I don't know because I know like it's a out. No, I'm not. It's an
Meh,
out.
the
No,
middle.
nah, it's an out. No, because I was at this man's last match. Literally, we were in Municipal. It's literally entitled
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
Match.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is wrestling. No one retires, but this man
I
should.
love Rick. I really do. But he's no Jeff Jarrett. And I think that's what needs to be
We went a whole episode without talking about Jeff Jarrett.
like that man is the epitome. But I love Rick. I do. I'm gonna give Rick an owl, yeah, like as a whole, but I'm gonna give him an owl nah for showing up.
Okay, okay. Um, and we're gonna keep with spooky things. Well, this is I'm just using the habit, but wrestling themed shows.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, oh
Owl. Hell yeah. Owl yeah.
no. And this isn't a part of it, but how about holiday themed matches? Because we saw Abaddon and Sheeta this weekend.
No, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I did. All I know is when I got, because I had to go back and rewatch Collision.
Yeah.
When I got on the internet and saw Sheeta jumping on a broom, no, that is not what I'm here for. But I am here for that type, like this type of stuff, but
The
not
whole
no. Mm,
I'm gonna give theme matches an L, yeah.
okay.
Especially Sheeta Abaddon because it was a fun
Ugh,
time.
it was
I
me.
like silly. That's for me, and it's not for everybody,
Yeah.
and I respect that. Our next one, pulling my loose. Um, Timeless Tony Storm
Oh yeah. I mean, she
and
has the
Mason.
best character. Definitely Al, yeah. She has the best character right now in wrestling.
Mhm.
The only issue is, and some may disagree, I just don't think that she should like the black and white doesn't work to the crowd. So why is she I I don't know. I just don't like the fact of, well, maybe now because I'm younger. I mean, I'm older, and if I was younger, I would see the appeal to it. So maybe,
Mm,
but I just hate that it goes in black and white, and she's out, like out in the crowd, like out
mhm. And
near
on
the
stage
ring
again.
or on the ramp. That is
And
so
then it goes
weird.
flips back to color.
That is weird as fuck to me. Like that to me, like, and that's just from my aspect. And I know people would bring up like, oh, what about NWA? And I get it, but or NWO or whatever. But I get.
Mhm,
But for me, that's like if I was producing that show, she would always have to be in the back. Like she could never be never. We would if we're doing the black and white thing, she would never we would never do that. That is just tacky to me. That's just bad production. But that's my only call out. But that's just from a producer standpoint. Like I just
mhm.
hate that. That's just a
That's just you.
ugh. But I love her character. Her
Mhm.
character is absolutely like it's amazing. And
The
I
short films and picture.
she's been able to branch off. She's been able to
Mhm.
do her thing. So yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing. Okay, intergender matches. I just used our favorites for this.
Where my definitely a L, yeah. I love
Yeah,
intergender. And I with that being said, I think that Ruby Soho wrestles men. Like I think she has better matches with men.
I feel like some people just do.
Yeah. Her and Josh Alexander's match. Top tier. She's amazing. She is amazing with the men. And I
Mhm,
know she gets a lot of heat for the televised shows that she does. But I think that's another thing that intergender wrestling should be more on TV too, because you'll see it
mhm.
at an indie show. There was a whole
Yeah.
battle royal last night that I was watching. Well, that was happening at the wrestling show, and there was men, there was women, there was trans, there was so many different
Mhm.
inclusives.
Yeah,
Uh,
and nobody bats an eye at an indie show. You're like, "Oh, okay."
no, not even the kids.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah,
And you
yeah.
think the kids just see it as whatever.
Oh, that's a
And
bad guy, that's a bad girl. Okay,
yeah,
that's the one I'm supposed to like. I don't
I
like
want
him."
to see a match between Rhea Ripley and Solo Sequoia.
That yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
and I wanted Charlotte to big boot Adam Cole when they were champions. I always want that. But I do think
Oh.
that I'm gonna say this now because I don't know if it would ever happen, but I do think that it might happen. I want to see a woman retire a man.
Ooh.
I really want to see that. I really want to
Yeah.
see a woman like how iconic would it have been if Charlotte was able to retire her father? I mean, he had
Yeah.
David, unfortunately, which is, just so heartbreaking. But what if Charlotte retired him, like really and truly? And people are like, oh, it's not believable, blah, blah, blah.
Uh,
But
I think
that's
it's pretty
not
believable.
exactly like, but that's always people's excuse. But I know that's a super extreme, but just even just down the line, like women taking men out of the game. And listen, if Masha Slamovich retires and she wants a man to retire her, I'm good with it too. So it can
I
work both ways. But I'm just saying how iconic it would be if like
mhm.
a woman was to just
Yeah. You put
like
now I want that. Yeah, yeah. Some we have to get there some point.
yeah, but yeah, yeah for the
Intergender. New Japan.
I'm gonna give it an ow yeah. And I'm gonna say that I wish and I hope to get more endowed with
Mhm.
the company. I enjoy the product that I've watched. I did watch Julia and High
Yeah, Hyan.
High and I do love ELP.
Mhm.
I pull up for ELP. And Alex
I
Zane was there too.
love Alex
I
Zane.
love Alex Zane too. And I've stayed up um
Mhm,
in the mornings for these shows. I just want to be more like I want to really know like I really want to know what's going on cuz there's a lot of history here too,
mhm.
you know.
And
So,
there's a lot of information and a lot of
yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
so I get that. I
Yeah.
mean, and I even have a New Japan subscription.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but
But
I'm hopefully with this new update, it'll be easier to see.
I do want to say this since we brought it up. Just because you only watch WWE, that doesn't make you cool. And just because you only watch like a New Japan or Indies, that doesn't make you cool either. What's the real truth behind all of this is if you're not watching something because of someone else or because of another promotion, you are robbing yourself of good entertainment, like good
Mhm,
wrestling. And that's one thing that I learned. Like that's one thing that I can say that I'm grateful that I got in media because it made me expand. I remember sitting at like in the living room and just watching different GCW shows just
yeah,
to know what was going on.
mhm.
You'll have a different appreciation. But I will say this, and this might be a little shady because if you watch AEW, you're probably watching this, right? And you're
Yeah,
probably watching
kind
Indies.
of. Yeah,
If you're only watching WWE, I feel like that is like, that's worse. That's worse to me than because you have more of a variety. Like,
mhm.
I love WWE,
Yeah,
I do, but WWE doesn't have Speedball. That's just that's just how I feel.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I love people in WWE and I love their roster, but I just don't feel like they have a Speedball.
yeah.
And I enjoy watching him wrestle at live shows.
I
So
love
that's what I
Speedball.
say. If you only watch WWE, it's kind of fucked because you are kind of robbing yourself of. I would definitely, as someone who only watched WWE in their adult life until what 20, damn near 28, 29. Like seriously, I'm not talking about like TNA. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
like ECW. I'm not talking about like stuff. I'm talking about like that, like this type stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because
I
this
think
has
it's
been going on for
yeah,
a minute.
yeah. I think it just goes go back to like just open expand because
Yeah,
I mean we've been to WWE shows and there's you know that you can tell the people that only watch WWE.
yeah,
And so just expand. It's like movies and it's just like there's different genres,
yeah.
different things. But yeah, New Japan. We I'm trying to get on lyrics level. I don't think I'll ever be on lyrics level. Shout out
Baby, shout out to Lyric.
he watches
Cause
the two screens
she
up all
keeps
the
up.
time.
She keeps up.
I want to be. I say it every year, but I want to be that person in the G1. But I get tired. Get
Ah,
kind of sleepy.
yeah,
I got Wrestle Kingdom in me. That's it.
that's it.
Deathmatch wrestling. You could don't have to comment on who is in this photo.
I'm not. It scares me. It scares me in person. I've seen a couple. It really scares. I'm not gonna lie. Like I ain't scared of much, but this scares me in person. And I had to watch Trey go through one too.
Was it with my boys SGC?
Yeah, yeah.
The
It was
most violent of boys.
that was just that was a wild time. But I'm a fan of them on TV.
Like from a distance, you
But
want to
I
be.
get like even though I'm not a fan of it, I will give it an Al yeah because I do think it's important to certain people like a Moxley or Sammy Callahan or even like a Masha or a Nick Gage, people that I've gotten to learn through a death match, even a Matt Cordona.
King of the Deathmatch. Who knew?
Who knew? Who fucking knew? But personally, yeah, I think it's important to wrestling. It has to. I watched Taya. Ew,
Oof.
it was awful. Yeah, so I give it a.
And I'm a too enthusiastic thumbs up. Poor Aisha had to sit there and watch some deathmatch with me.
Oh,
You don't want to see me at a death. Something primal happens, and I don't know what happens. I'm not. I don't know. I've seen Rina Yamashita eat glass, and it just brings me some sort of joy. I'm scared of her. I love her. It's crazy.
it's wrestling.
That's wrestling. I don't know. Danny Garcia's dance.
Mm. Um,
The
I'm gonna give it an Al. Yeah,
Danny
I don't
Garcia in
have a
general.
I don't have a problem. I just think it's like he needs to loosen up a little bit. It's a
You
little
know, a little
still.
stiff.
I don't.
You know what I should have put? I should have put Tony Khan's dance on here when he did the Danny Garcia
Oh, I
dance.
saw it. It was that was a time. If I could have that footage, I would probably sell that footage. To be perfect.
Our girl Aisha had it. She was there. She saw it in
Oh,
person.
girl.
So jealous.
Oh, that was nasty. But yeah, I give it to you.
So now, yeah. All right. Silly. I like silly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Um, Sky Blue go into the dark side with this mist that we've been seeing.
I think it's time for Julia.
She's back. Julia's back.
She needs to have somebody. So
You like, okay.
I'm not mad at it.
I think she can pull it off.
I'm not
I'm
mad
saying.
at it.
Side note: this is not fashion forward, but the Scooby Doo gear.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of awful, but on camp. Like it's camp.
I love
Like I hate it, but it's camp. So it's
it.
like I have no choice but to like it, low key.
It's just the like she's turning to the dark side in a Scooby
Ugh,
Doo gear. It just gets me every time. It's how am I taking you seriously?
crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Bang bang gang.
Listen, let me tell you right now. I love these boys right here. Like genuinely, this is the biggest Al yeah. I think that yes, like I want them. I miss Jay White in Impact, but I think this is just necessary for the Colliders because I will go to another. I will go to Collision. Like I will go to another Collision just to go. I mean, just to see them,
And to get Santana Cardblade.
and that's what it's about.
Cardblade Cardblade is my favorite member of the Bang
Yeah.
Bang Gang.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I hate how much I love stupid Bang Bang Gang. I hate it. Separately, I hate all of these men. Together, I love it. When they came out on the little tricycles,
Mm.
just as silly
Juice.
I like. Ugh, disgusting.
You gotta love it.
Evolution.
Oh. Um, a lot of mishaps due to whatever. Would have been better to see Trish versus Sasha because I know that was her dream match. Nikki Bella really carried Ronda, and this was the match that made me really go back and look at the Divas because I felt like I was misconstrued about what Nikki was bringing to the table. Um, Charlotte and Becky ate the
Oh,
whole like that's one of their best matches.
so good.
Um, And I do think that the only way that this will come back is if you include NXT. And if you don't, you're degrading the prestige that NXT has built with women's wrestling. Also, it would be really fun if WWE would do a conjunction with the Knockouts division and
Ooh,
they would do a versus. And
ooh.
I would love to see people like a Deanna or Trent or like just a conjunction because Evolution, the women's evolution has lived and existed for so long in TNA and in the knockouts. And I think that's a lot of what's going to be showcased in this new rebirth. And it would be nice if evolution would turn into something um bigger than just WWE, not just, because look at the people on that list that are Trinity's on there,
Mhm,
Sasha's front center, well, Mercedes, Athena's there. You get what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like, there's people, and it could work.
Yeah.
Who
A
knows?
knockout Impact TNA versus WWE Evolution. That would be mm, that's the one. I didn't even think about that. Now I want it. Give me what I want. All right. Mansplaining on Twitter. I just had to use a pic of my boy Johnny and my girl Anna.
Mansplaining.
Unsolicited comments to things you post on Twitter.
Hmm.
We know what the answer is.
I actually like it.
You do.
I like it for me because it allows me to be a troll.
Okay. It makes
Like, give
sense.
me content that I can actually like spread out. I live on Twitter sometimes, so
Mhm.
I like
Understood.
those. Like I know somebody told me I had a dumb take or something, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is what I."
Okay. No, I don't like I think I tweeted something out was like, "Oh, we're getting Abaddon sneaky in on Rampage." And it was like, "It's Halloween." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Like, it's Tuesday.
I don't know what you mean. Like, I get it. All right, we're gonna do a couple not wrestling. First one, pineapple on pizza.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Mm.
I feel like we know the answer. I didn't even
That's
plan this.
crazy. That is so crazy. Yes. That movie was so good. 10 out of 10.
So good. I saw it twice in the theaters. I wish I would have saw it in IMAX.
Please, Jesus,
Ugh,
do something. Put it somewhere it's accessible for all of us.
please.
It's
So
so good.
good.
How can you still? I know, like last week, you could still watch it in theaters, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's gotta be like the longest. That was the one thing that I hated about movies is like, well, I guess you got to make room for other movies, but damn, like
The turnover rate of movies is real quick now.
crazy. It's just
You just have to wait a year for like it to come out on
um,
DVD and TV. Yeah. Now I feel old. But yes, Barbie, oh yeah,
oh yeah.
clearly. Tribal tattoos on anybody, not just men.
I'm gonna say Elm.
Yeah.
No.
Unless you're a member of the bloodline, no.
Yeah, and I did. That's why I said no, because that's not my thing. Roman comes to mind when I see this.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to use anybody's photo because I didn't want to call anyone out.
Oh,
Yes.
Roman.
That is not an option on here. Deodorant. Please wear it.
Please. I I don't know if I've had like some really bad experiences, but I don't think I paid any attention. I've gotten like a swift,
Just like a what?
like
Like
even
somebody
last
walked
night,
by?
whiff, yeah, like a whiff, whatever they call it.
Mm.
I was at the show last night, and but then I was just like,
I've been in some situations where like a couple seats down, I'm like, we have to be here for 3 hours.
just put it on.
Why?
But
Come
I
on.
also saw I have lost hope in humanity as a whole because I saw this video of this girl last night and she said she hasn't brushed her teeth in 10 years. 10 years she has not brushed her teeth.
I think I saw that on TikTok too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on I seen it on my Twitter and I was just so amused. Because as she keeps talking, you can tell she's telling the truth. She said the only thing she's been doing is like Listerine, and I think she said she was flossing or something. Girl, that shit, I have lost all hope. So
Mm.
if you're gonna buy
Well,
deodorant,
pe-
please buy.
people are out here saying they don't wash their legs, just telling us information we don't need. They don't wash their hands after the bathroom.
Well,
Stop.
I've always known people to do that because you can tell when you go to the bath. That's another reason why I don't like I know I work in a public facility, so sometimes I have to use the bathroom, obviously. But that's
Yeah, yeah.
another reason why I don't like to use the public bathroom because like people
Mm.
don't wash their hands and people don't feel the need to wash their Dude, I think I don't even know what's worse. The fact that you don't do certain things that are seen to be hygienic or the fact that you have a reasoning like
What
behind
is,
it.
yeah, what's that? What is the mental? Well, I didn't touch the, no. Ew. Ew.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Or even feeling like, let's say if you didn't take a shower for 2 days, right? Why
Mhm.
is that anyone's business? Like, I should not know that. That
Yeah,
is the problem that gets me. Like, oh, I only bathe once. Like,
I don't need to know your bathing habits.
no.
But please, please wear deodorant to all events if you're going to be in a public space. Please. Keep it on you. A little travel one. Just go to Target. It's easy. And our last one. I saved a good one for you.
Oh, bodysuits. He's really coming for Jay. Like, I want Jay to know, like, girl, this is for you. When I saw this, I was like, this is mother. Definitely an Al Yeah.
Yeah. This come on.
Sister,
I had to bookmark the flares for you.
she just, there's just something about her that just makes me more and more like happy to be alive. Like when I look at her, it just makes me just, I'm just happy to be on this earth. Like
The
I'm just
same
happy
time.
to breathe. Like not only have I have breathed the same air as this woman twice.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I
you
have a selfie. Like that would like and I think people like and I think the biggest thing that's helped me through all the bullshit that's happened is that people will never understand. I left SummerSlam after asking Cody a question and took a selfie with Charlotte. I could have died the next day.
hmm
That's what helped me through all the bullshit that was going on because of what like all the shit that I got to do. Like like it's wild. Like even with or without a publication, with or without a promotion, it doesn't matter. That is what was amazing to me. So every time I see this woman, it just she is the existence that I have in wrestling. Like she is just to me just someone that I just like I know Tiffany said that she inspired her to wrestle, but like Charlotte really inspired me to want to get in media, like, or even just have. I remember when I first like got back in school, I was like, oh, I want to write for WWE. Like that was just my main focus. I didn't even know what the
Yeah.
fuck that meant. I just wanted to write. like I didn't know what that meant. And I remember always going back and watching the Hell in a Cell match between Charlotte and Sasha. And that match is like, if I had to pick one match that defines my entire career, it would be that, because I can play both like I can play both people. I can be Charlotte and I can be the winner who everyone hates in a sense, or is mad at, who feels like they shouldn't have won but they did win, and still like making all these accolades, pissing people off, blah blah blah. But then also being Sasha, taking your losses in front of so many people that you care about, your hometown. Like that match is the equivalency of my career in media, like in wrestling media. Like if I that's the one match that I would tell people, um, because it's so controversial. It's not expecting. Everyone went in thinking Sasha was gonna win. It was great. Hell, people didn't even know if Sasha was gonna finish the match or even begin the match. Like everything about it was just so riveting to me. And when I go back, like I remember when I got into media, I would go back and I would just watch that match. And I'd be like, yo, like this just has to be talked about. And I got to talk about it. And I'm being able to talk about it now and stuff like that. Small stuff.
Hmm.
But definitely Al, yeah.
Oh yes, the queen. She's also she's now our Mexican queen. She's one of us now. I've taken.
Yeah.
I've Charlotte and Finn. They are ours now. They are by marriage. They are ours now.
Yeah. By man. Yeah.
Yes, they're Mexican. They're more Mexican than me. They speak better Spanish than me. I'll be real.
Crazy.
But yeah, like that's it. That was Al Yeah or Al Nah.
Yeah.
You were the first player on this game.
I think I did pretty good.
You did. Had a good time.
I know. I like the surprises. I like
Yeah.
that.
I want to keep it a little
Yeah.
to keep people on their toes. Not all wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
But some are wrestling related, you
Yeah.
know. A tribal tattoo, deodorant, very important.
Very important.
Very important. Thank you so much for being the first guest, for hanging out with me. And I love you so much.
You.
And I'm so glad you're in my life and we met and we've
I
formed
know.
this bond and connection. We got a lot out of the place we were in before.
We did.
And then we got the people out of it. And I love that.
The
But
most part.
before we head out, what do you want? You got any last words? Where can we find you? Whole schedule. Tell everybody.
So as far as the Shakers Den, we go live on Mondays. So we do a show before Raw. We do SmackDown versus Raw, Raw versus SmackDown, however you want to phrase it. On Tuesday nights, we do an NXT Uncut. Thursday nights, we do Impact Wrestling post show. And then, of course, we still do the Fashion Forward. You can catch all of the content at The Shakkas, ShakkasDen, The Shakkas Den. And you can also follow us on Battleground Podcast as well. On Twitter, that's Battleground IHR. Yes, for iHeartRadio. Yeah, so we're streaming there too. Okay.
Well,
Make sure you follow the Twitter, it's the Shakers, and then follow the Instagram to the Shakers Den. You can catch me on all things. Normally, I'm not on Instagram unless I'm like chatting with people. That's not really like I
yeah.
don't really know that. So you gotta catch me on Twitter. You gotta see me on Twitter. But hopefully you'll see me and Al, you
Oh
know.
yeah. You will pop in if
I'll pop
you
in
need.
from
Yeah.
time to time. Maybe a
You
special
need me. Yeah.
yeah.
Told you whenever you want. You want to talk about some Ring of Honor. Whatever
Yeah,
you want to do.
we're gonna talk.
Whatever. Figure it out. I love you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks everyone for watching, for listening. And you know where to find us. Find the show Al Yeah Pod at all the things. If you want to follow me personally, it's Al Yeah 2 underscores. And this is just the beginning. Um Leave us comments, feedback, nice feedback. Subscribe, like, share. Please do all of the things. It helps me out, and I appreciate it. There'll be more fun shows. We got Review in the Elite, and we have Let's Talk Ring of Honor also on the show. So, figure on our YouTube exclusively. There'll be vlogs. There'll be traveling. I don't know what else is going to be on here, but we're going to have a good time. And remember, you are Kenneth. Bye.